struggling with a relationship in your life? This could be a romantic relationship, a family relationship, friendship, anywhere in between or outside of that, coworkers, etc. And you're wondering, why is this so hard? Why can't I just say something? Or why can't I just stay away? Or what is it about me? Or what is it about them? Or, anything in between those and all around. And I want to talk about that today in the Cultivating Calmness podcast. So let's get to it. Well, I hear this and I've heard this coming up a lot recently, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk a little bit about relationships and boundaries. And I know that's, something that everybody, is a hot topic and we talk a lot about, especially in therapy, is boundaries. How do we implement them? How do we talk about them? What's too much of a boundary or not enough of a boundary or a limit? And what does that look like? What is right and what is wrong here? And even aside from all of that, the bigger question is that I find myself wondering when it comes to clients and even myself, I can be honest, this has happened to me personally, is what are we afraid of when it comes to something going on in a relationship that you have with somebody else? So what I hear most often is that there is a need or a want for some kind of connection with somebody. Again, fill in the blank with the relationship you are talking about. Romantic, parent, child, friend, coworker, you name it. It doesn't matter what the relationship is. It's kind of a universal question. There's the surface level things that may be going on. That's the stuff you see and you feel. So whether it's, I think they're avoiding me, they're not telling me the truth, they're not being honest, or fully honest. They're not sharing things with me that I would like them to share with me. We only ever have surface level conversations. We don't talk about anything deep. They've done something to hurt me, and when I try to bring it up, we just aren't able to talk about it. They won't talk about it, or I won't share what I'm really thinking or feeling. The list goes on and on and on and on. One of the questions then that I have for myself, for other people is, well, what are you afraid is going to happen if you say or do X, Y, Z in question? If I speak up, if I tell the person how I'm really feeling, what am I afraid of them doing or saying to me? Am I afraid of rejection? Afraid of getting hurt? Maybe I'm afraid that what I think will happen actually does happen. And I think that's often the case is many of my clients, when this comes up, the fear is that the relationship that I currently have and I'm trying to hold on to with this person or people will be different or may cease to exist at all if I speak up, if I stand up for myself, if I let them know what's really going on and how I really feel or how they've hurt me, etc. And that is a difficult place to be in any place in life, in any relationship, especially with family. We crave, we need those relationships, with our parents, with our siblings. We want them. And when they're not going the best, we need to set boundaries, those boundaries that I talked about. And knowing how to set them within a limit so that you can continue to maintain some semblance of a connection or relationship with this person is often what's at play. It's if I speak up, they're going to not want to come around anymore, but I want them to come around. I just don't like that they're doing these things and I wish they would stop these things. or, I don't like the way they talk to me and I don't want my kids to see that or think that that's okay. That's not the lessons I'm trying to give my kids. So like, I really don't want that to happen, but I do still want to see them. I do still love them. I do still want to spend time with them, but maybe not on the other person's, timeline or their expectation. I want it more to be, under my expectations and my rules and what I think is okay. And sometimes there's a compromise. And we talk about like what compromises are you able to make while still feeling safe and secure and okay with your decision? And what are those red lines, those hard lines, in the sand that are like, nope, absolutely not. We're not crossing that. I will not tolerate this. And, how do you want to enforce that? And these are the things we try to like work around in therapy or just in life. Again, myself included. I have been, semi recently, had a connection with a very close friend and, things did not turn out well. And it's still a struggle. It's still a struggle to figure out, did I do the right thing? Did I not do the right thing? Did I set the right boundary? Did I not set the right boundary? Um, you know, if I had done things differently, would they be different now? If they had done things differently, would they be different now? If I did decide to try again, would things ever be the same again? Um, these are all questions that I grapple with. These are questions that I have, clients that grapple with these questions, friends that grapple with these questions. And the answer is we just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. We hope that things are going to turn out okay. We hope that we're going to get the relationship back or have the relationship that we perceive or that we want or we envision in our heads that could be possible. And with any relationship, there's usually a give and take. It's two-sided, not one-sided. And if you find that your relationship is one-sided, there's only so much that you can do to change that, and the rest is up to them. Now, the caveat to that I say is, have you informed the other party of your perspective, how you feel, what's going on? Or are we kind of in this place where we're assuming they know or they should know how I feel based on how I react or maybe some of the things that I've said? And I usually, I hear that. And I am not, I'm not innocent here. I've definitely probably done these things. So again, we're all learning and we're all trying, and relationships are hard. But sometimes we assume the other person knows or they should know what's going on, and we don't actually verbalize those things. We don't say it. So they don't actually know. So they're left in the dark and they're trying to interpret your actions and your words, and you haven't actually, said what's on your mind and what's going on. So this is where I encourage people to say something. Having a polite and calm conversation, not one that comes up in anger or in a situation where you're triggered by something that they've done or said, and you're like, hot and like way over the top and, already frustrated and irritated, and nothing's going to come out well when that happens. So it's, can I sit down and have a conversation with you about what went wrong, what's going on, how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what my assumptions are about your intentions and your attitude and your et cetera, and vice versa. Can I hear their interpretation? Can we have that conversation? Sometimes those conversations are possible, and difficult. They're often avoided because they're uncomfortable, because they're awkward, because there's fear involved in, what if they don't like what I have to say? What if they don't change? What if, we say all these things, we go through all this, they say they're going to change and then nothing happens. What if I hear from them exactly what I don't want to hear and I suspect they're going to say? And I also try to pose the opposite questions. Well, what if it all works out? What if they do change? What if things get better because you've spoken up and you've shared where you're coming from and your perspective? That is also possible, is it not? I don't think we often think about the positives that could ensue from opening up communication, expressing our fears, and having that vulnerability. Vulnerability is so big. It's not an easy thing to do, no matter who you are. Um, Even the people who preach about vulnerability and do research on it can struggle with vulnerability themselves. And no, I don't think anybody is alone in that. So vulnerability is in and of itself a hard thing to do, but it can be so beneficial. So when, you're thinking about a relationship that you're struggling with, and you're asking these questions, I want you to ask yourself, like, what am I really afraid of here? Is that something that is a reality? And if so, is that something I'm willing to live with? If it's not, what accommodations or compromises am I willing to put forward or willing to go through with to continue the relationship for what it is, versus what maybe I hope it would be? And keep in mind that a relationship is at least a two-way street. So if you're willing to make changes, we hope and we want the other party to make changes as well, so we can come to a general understanding and be able to move forward together. That's also part of reconciliation and healing. If it's more one-sided, it's how do I protect myself? Those are those boundaries. How do I keep myself safe physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, all of the things, and still continue to have some kind of relationship, but it may just look different. It may be, you know, I only see you when you come to my house, and maybe you never want to come to my house, so I never get to see you, right? I don't want to see you when you're drinking, so if I show up at your house and you're drinking, I'm leaving. Yeah, that sucks. Maybe I drove an hour to get here, and then you do something like that I've requested or asked for you not to do, and I've told you that I won't tolerate it. Well, then I'm going to have to leave. And that may or may not help you out. That may or may not change the relationship. The other party may or may not do something better and want to have you around and decide to stop drinking. They may do that. They may not, in this example. So this was just something that was on my mind because I've seen it. It's been coming up a lot. And so I like to talk about things that tend to come up and be present in my life and in my clients' lives. And, there's a reason for that. I don't know what the reason is, that maybe a lot of people are maybe experiencing that at this point in their lives, maybe the season in life or time of year. But I think it's helpful to talk about it. Now, not every relationship is going to be healed. Not every relationship is going to work out the way we want them to. Ultimately, it's trying to decide for yourself if that is what you want, if you are able to handle that, whatever it looks like, and how you're able to do that safely for yourself and your family. And it's okay if that ebbs and flows at times. Maybe there'll be good periods and bad periods in life with this person or these people in your life. That's okay too. But start by addressing your concerns and acknowledging your role, whatever it is, especially if maybe you haven't acknowledged what is going on to these people yourself, because I find that that's often the case. We just expect people to know, and they don't know. And we can't necessarily expect change if we don't take steps to make that happen as well. So if we avoid the change, we avoid the work, we avoid doing something different, we're also avoiding that possibility of that relationship getting any better. So avoidance doesn't usually help us in the long run. Maybe in the current immediate future, it is helpful because it avoids those icky feelings and situations, but then it just extends it out and it continues on in life. And we don't want to do that. So I hope you found this helpful today. If you're struggling with a relationship, think about what you can do, what boundaries you can set, what questions you can ask, what conversations can be had, both internally and with other people, and see what happens. Who knows? Maybe things could work out for the better and not for the worse. I will see you again next week.